The second part of day 13, we're going to look at changing from vertex form to standard form. So we'll do a quick review using order of operations. Can you solve for y? So if you recall, if you just have numbers on one side of an equation, you can use order of operations to solve, and order of operations is PEMDAS. So P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M stands for multiplying, D stands for dividing, A stands for adding, and S stands for subtracting. And so if we're not solving, we're just simplifying, we just use order of operations to do that. So let's go ahead and look at parentheses first. So here's parentheses. We'll do 1 plus 4, which gives us 5. The second step is exponents, so we're going to square the 5 and get 25. The next step we would multiply, so we're going to multiply by this 3 right here. So we would get 75. And the last step is, for this one, adding. We're going to add our 5, and so we get y equals 80. And so this is when we're simplifying something, we use order of operations. Solving, you use opposite order of operations. So we're going to do that when we change from vertex to standard form. So vertex form is when we know how the graph shifts, up, down, left, or right, because then we can easily find the vertex. So this equation is in vertex form. Vertex form is in the form f of x equals, you have that a value, which tells you the direction of the graph and if it's wider or skinnier than the original. And then you have x minus h squared plus k. And if you recall from the functions unit first semester, k is left and right, minus h is to the right, and plus h is to the left. And then plus k is up k units, and minus k is down k units. All right, so that is review. And so if it's in this form, this is called vertex form right here, you should easily be able to identify the vertex. So right here, what is the vertex? So we'll take a look at how this graph shifts. We have a plus 4. Plus 4 on the inside of the parentheses is left and right, and it's the opposite of what you think. So this would mean left 4, and the minus 5 on the outside is up or down, and it's what you think. So the minus would be down 5. So that whole quadratic, if we were to graph this, well, first of all, is it, let's see right here, left 4, and then down 5. All right, so there's the graph. We know it's U-shaped up because of the A value, so if we graphed it, it would look something like this. So again, if we know the graph shifts left 4, down 5, the vertex will be the opposite of what we see inside the parentheses. So the opposite of plus 4 is minus 4, and then down 5, minus 5. So vertex form, we should be able to easily look at it and find the vertex. Is it a min or max? Since we know that this A value is positive, it's a smiley face graph, which means that that vertex is the minimum or the lowest point. So this one is a minimum. And then the new part here is, can you multiply this out or change it to standard form? And so I'm going to rewrite it, and then we'll go step by step on how to change it to standard form, which means no parentheses. So here's the original equation in vertex form. So we have 3 times x plus 4 squared, and then it was minus 5. Okay, so order of operations, that's what we're going to do here. We're going to start with, and if you recall PEMDAS, the parentheses. Okay, so the parentheses is just this part right here, x plus 4 times x plus 4. It's x plus 4 squared. So you can either FOIL this out or use a rectangle. I like to use the rectangle. So first step, we're going to multiply out x plus 4 times x plus 4. This is when you have the outside of the box and you want the inside. So the first box is x times x, which is x squared. The second box would be 4 times x, which is 4x. We have another 4x, and our last one is 4 times 4, which is 16. So when we multiply that out, we get x squared. We'll combine like terms. So plus 8x plus 16. So there's the first step. The next step is we're going to multiply. It's either multiply or subtract, and multiply comes next. So we're going to take everything, and we're going to multiply everything here by this 3. So when we distribute, we'll get 3x squared plus 24x plus 48. So there we distribute. And then the last step is subtraction. So we have this minus 5 hanging out at the end, so we'll subtract 5. So standard form is when there's no parentheses. We would say f of x equals that 3x squared plus the 24x, and then 48 minus 5 is 43. And so here's that same equation. In standard form, we started in vertex form, where we could see the vertex pretty easily. But this is standard form where there's no parentheses. Okay, so let's do that one more time, and then in your assignment, you'll practice multiplying this out to get to standard form. Okay, so again, it starts in vertex form because we can tell how the graph shifts. So let's do that first. The -3 on the inside of the parentheses is to the right 3 units, and the +1 is up 1. So that vertex also shifts right 3 and up 1 because remember the parent function is at 0, 0, but now we're shifting it right 3 up 1. So our new vertex is 3, 1. So it's the opposite of what's inside the parentheses, but then the outside stays the same. Next, is the vertex a min or a max? So if we were to graph this, 2, 3, 1, here's the vertex. Look at the A value. The A value is the first thing in vertex form, and it's -1. And so we know that that would be upside down or a frowny face, which makes this vertex a maximum because it's the highest point on the graph. So a maximum because it's a frowny face graph. Convert to standard form. Okay, so again, I'm going to rewrite the function in vertex form. So f of x equals negative x minus 3 squared plus 1. And we're going to multiply this, or we're going to simplify this using order of operations. So first we start with the parentheses. We'll take x minus 3 and square it. So that means multiply it by itself. So you have x minus 3 times x minus 3. We'll get x squared minus 3x plus 9. So I'll write that out, x squared minus 6x because we combine like terms, plus 9. The next step is we multiply by this number in front. So if there's only a negative, what number is invisible but still there? And that would be a -1. So we're going to take our -1 and distribute it. And it's just going to switch the sign of everything inside the parentheses. So I have negative x squared plus 6x minus 9. And then the last step is we have this number hanging out at the end, the +1. So we tack it on here and combine like terms. And so our final answer in standard form will be negative x squared plus 6x minus 8. And that will be the same equation, but in a different form, standard form. So vertex form, you should be able to get the vertex, and then standard form is when there's no parentheses. So your assignment is pages 7 and 8. So pages 7 does kind of the first part of the lesson, part 1 of the lesson, and then 8 does part 2 of the lesson where you convert it.